There are certain things that these unsecured lenders are looking at, and you'd be surprised at how picky they are, especially right now.
Some of the most watched videos on this YouTube channel are videos about business credit. Now, you would think that I would double down on business credit information considering I've gotten over $1 million of business credit, but I don't want to. Let me tell you why. I've been very standoffish about providing more business credit information because I feel like in our culture, there is an air of people just want to get something for nothing. Like people are just obsessed with business credit because they think that it's free money. And so I thought about it. Rather than me just not giving people what they want, videos about business credit, maybe I can help out some of those people who think that business credit is free money and they're trying to really just take advantage of the system. Maybe I can actually educate them to show them how this is a really powerful tool so that they can avoid going bankrupt. So in this video, I am going to give you 3 really amazing tips on how to properly manage business credit so you don't go bankrupt. And also, I have an amazing surprise for you at the end. No, it's not some surprise where I'm trying to pitch something to you. It's like a real life surprise at the end. So make sure you stay tuned. The first tip I have for you for managing your business credit without going bankrupt is to manage all of your accounts on a spreadsheet. This is so important. Chances are, if you get approved for one business line of credit worth, say, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, you probably also going to get approved for 8, 10, possibly even 20 other lines of credit. So why not go for all of them? So if you in your personal life, you've never had business credit, you've been managing, I don't know, 10 accounts, your cell phone bill, your regular credit card bill, your car note, your mortgage, or your rent payment, that's 10 accounts that you manage and you have to keep track of. Then all of a sudden now you've got 20 more accounts. That's 30 lines of credit or responsibilities that you have to remember to pay every month. Trust me, do not leave it up to your brain to remember all that. It will drive you absolutely nuts. So you want to set up a spreadsheet. Let me tell you how I have my spreadsheet set up. It is very, very simple, okay? You're going to have a spreadsheet with the first column is going to be the account name. And then the next column is going to be the reporting date, whatever day of the month that account reports. And then the next column, you're going to have the URL where you would pay the account. The next column is going to be the username, and the next one is going to be the password. You're going to sort everything by the reporting date. So this is a spreadsheet, and that is one sheet. Then that is going to be your central location to house all of the major information for all of your accounts. Then you're going to need to actually track everything. You're going to have another tab where you're just going to have one column with the account name. The next column is going to be the reporting date for every single month. So you're going to have it look something like this. Every month at the beginning of the month, you're going to copy down the dates, that main column from the first sheet, and then you're going to drop it into your actual reporting sheet. And every single month, you're going to use this to track what needs to be paid by when. So you can log in maybe once a week and pay the stuff from the previous week or the stuff for coming up for the next week. However you want to do it, but you're going to need something to keep everything central to help you understand your responsibilities and how to manage them properly. Now, some of you may be wondering, how do I get 30 different business lines of credit? That is what the surprise at the end is. I'm going to tell you how you can do it. And yes, trust me, if you can get one business line of credit, you can get a lot of them, but they have to be done properly and strategically. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. The second tip, this one is really important. Your business activities have to outperform the minimum payment of the debt. Your business activities that you expanded on have to outperform the minimum payment on the debt. What does that mean? If you borrow $50,000, keep it very, very simple, and you take that $50,000 and put it to work, the return that you get on that from a nominal dollar amount has to be higher than the minimum payment. Let's say the minimum payment is $500. that $50,000 needs to be bringing in at least $550 so that this whole business credit thing is actually profitable. If you take $50,000 and your minimum payment is $500 and that $50,000 only earns you $200 a month, this is not good. Okay, this is not good. You need to figure it out. This means that your business didn't have a money problem. Your business had an infrastructure, operations, a marketing, a sales problem, whatever. I don't know what the issue is. It could be a million different things, but this is not something that money will solve. And business credit may not be for you. If you cannot calculate to some degree of confidence that, hey, I'm going to borrow this money and it's going to outperform the minimum payment. Now, keep in mind, real estate is going to be a little bit different because a lot of times we as developers, if you're borrowing properties, you're buying them and you're rehabbing them, you're going to have a good amount of time where you're not going to bring in any money. But your exit strategy needs to outperform your minimum payments. So if you borrow $50,000 and your minimum payments for the entire year is $10,000, by the time you exit out that property, you need to at least be able to pull out $60,000, at least. That's the $50,000 in debt that you borrowed plus the $10,000 in the minimum payments or the interest payments, depending on how it's set up. If it's not just interest payments, your payments are going to eat away at that principal, but you kind of get my very crude math. It needs to outperform it. This money needs to be profitable. It needs to be working. No one likes an unprofitable worker. And my last tip is do not borrow money, get business credit for a business that does not have proof of concept. What do I mean by that? You need to know that your business brings value to people. I'm going to rephrase that. You need to know for sure, not a reasonable certainty. Like I said before, we're not talking about a reasonable certainty. We are talking about for sure, you know that people believe that your business brings value. Now, some of you have businesses and you have business ideas. I'm not talking about real estate. We want to put that one to the side for just a minute. You have business ideas and you run these ideas by your family members, and your family members are like, oh my goodness, this is a great idea. That is not proof of concept. You need to be able to sample the market, put something out here to see if people really do want it. There may be instances. This is really important. I used to run across this all the time when I had a digital marketing agency years ago. People had ideas that sounded like really amazing ideas. It sounded like something that would really help people, something that people would love. But when they put the product out to the marketplace didn't respond for there's a number of reasons. That's a whole business development conversation and a business conversation that we can have, but people need to believe it. How do you know? Is if you sample it, if you actually bring your product to the marketplace. If you have an idea that really does require a lot of startup money to even sample it and bring it to the marketplace, you don't want debt. You want to raise money through equity. You want to go to someone and say, hey, take on this risk with me. Do you believe in me? Take on this risk with me. That's different than debt. Debt means you got to pay it back no matter what. Equity is someone saying, hey, yes, I will take on this risk with you. In exchange, I want a portion of the business. I want to have ownership of the business. And so there's a trade-off there, but that is a better way to raise money for a business that doesn't quite yet have proof of concept. Now, this final point, the reason why real estate is so sexy for business credit is because real estate has proof of concept. It's been having proof of concept since tens of thousands of years ago. Humans have been around for 200,000 years, okay? I can guarantee you, if they had the proper tools to go back and look and see what humans were doing 150,000 years ago, guess what? They was renting out properties. I promise you, it might not have looked like how it looked today. They was trading berries for a hut. They was trading berries for a cave. Okay, real estate is a proven concept. We already know what it is. Now, it differs for how people run their business, the contractors they hire, the type of tenants they bring in. But at the end of the day, you really do have a ironclad blueprint to actually outperform the minimum payments on that business debt. Okay? Okay. So, this is what I'm going to do. I have a really good friend, Eric. Eric runs a business funding specialist business. He's gotten our members of the Better Than Success Real Estate League millions of dollars in business credit. He's also gotten me a good amount of business credit. And this is also like real life my friend. So, what I wanted to do is recite these tips and I'm going to share them with him, and then we are going to call him and see what he thinks about my tips about business credit management, making sure you do not go bankrupt, and making sure we are responsible with this and understand that this is not free money. So let's hop over and FaceTime Eric. All right, Eric, you saw my notes about how to not go bankrupt with business credit. And so you are a business credit specialist. You are a business funding specialist. You have gotten our members a lot of money. You have a more accurate running tab of that number. But you've gotten our members a lot of money, and I completely trust you in this area. What did you think about my tips?
Well, look, Nicole, most people don't hit it on the head, right? So I saw those tips. What I really got out of it was that you understand, and number one, you're out there using it. So I love to see someone who's using business credit explain how they're managing it properly, because that's what I do, right? Being a real estate investor of over 20 years, right? I think points one and two that you made about using the spreadsheet, as well as making sure that you're not getting involved in opportunities where you're not able to out earn the interest that you're paying, are the two key pieces of putting it to use properly. So for me personally, right, I just want to add a little bit to what you said about using that spreadsheet. For me, I've been using what I call my CCM, my credit card management spreadsheet, for the past 15 years. And yes, you will have multiple, when you build business credit, right, you're going to have multiple lines that you need to stay on top of. So a spreadsheet is awesome. In my spreadsheet, not only am I keeping track of, when the pay dates are, the payment dates are for a lender, I'm also keeping track of when, if a business credit card is on a promotion, when that credit card promotion is going to expire. I want to know that.
Mm.
Want to know that. Um, Another thing that's important is what's the current interest rate on it. So imagine if you had a snapshot of all the different lines of credit that you were using, where you could know the blended interest rate as a real estate investor, as a business owner. What's that blended interest rate that you're paying on the multiple lines in an instant? So our spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet that I've been using to manage four of my LLCs for the past 15 years, combines all of that. So I love the idea of the spreadsheet. My background's in engineering, so I'm a spreadsheet, spreadsheet king, Excel champion, they call me in my past life. And to me, just having all of that information in one spot that you can access within seconds is the key.
So,
One other tip I'm going to add with the pay dates, right? So
mhm.
when you're making your minimum payments, I do not set up online payments with every single business credit bank or lender. I
Okay.
like to manage that from my main business checking account and make the payments out of their bill pay system, so that I can pay a little bit more than the minimum payment. If the minimum payment's $25 a month, I want to pay $30.
Hmm.
That helps you to build that business credit, and the limits up over time, and for you to, keep killing it in terms of building up the access.
See, I like to log in because I like to see what my balance is. Like, I don't rely on those paper statements. The US snail mail is a nightmare right now. And so I like to log in and I want to see what's going on, what my balance is, what, whatever. So, but I'm here for whatever option people have to really know when something's due and not forget, whatever. So, okay, you have this famous spreadsheet.
Yes.
Before we even, I want to know how can people get access to the spreadsheet. But before we go in, I want you to give everyone maybe like a 30-second quick bio about what it is and what you do.
All right. So I am Eric Moz, owner and lead funding strategist of MB Capital Solutions. We specialize in helping small business owners and primarily real estate investors in accessing opportunity money, right? Opportunity money meaning unsecured revolving lines of credit under the business that you can use for opportunities in your business, for real estate deals, to make sure that you don't miss out on a deal due to lack of access to capital and credit. And that is my number one goal as as a strategist helping thousands of real estate investors. Let's set them up. Let's make sure they don't miss out on a deal due to lack of access.
Okay, so now that we know all that good information about you, why don't you share where people can get access to this amazing spreadsheet that you have?
All right. So every client, right? Everyone that becomes a client of ours gets access to the spreadsheet. If someone's interested in obtaining that ahead of time or just want it just as a reference point to use, hit me up with an email, with a quick text. Let me know you're interested in that spreadsheet, and myself and my team will make sure that we get you a copy of a blank spreadsheet that you can populate and start to use.
Okay, how can people text you or email you?
So my email is my first and last name, Eric Moz at mbcapitalsolutions.com. And my direct line is 856-556-0830.
And if you hit them up as a result of watching this, tell them that I sent you because Eric has a little discount for you if you decide to move
Absolutely.
forward. So let me just say this too. For people who think that they can go out and get business credit alone, right? They want to watch a bunch of YouTube videos and say, okay, I'm going to get business credit alone. Why would they use you versus doing it alone? I know the answer. But
Yep.
why would they use you? Tell people why they need to work with someone like you versus going at these individual banks by themselves.
I mean, it's the data, right? I've talked to a number of business owners, a number of real estate investors that have gone to the same banks that we utilize, yet they were working with the wrong banker at that bank and didn't know how to position the application, position the profile, the credit profile ahead of time to make sure that when you get in front of that underwriter, you're set up for optimal success. And also the credit side, right? There are certain things that these unsecured lenders are looking at, and you'd be surprised at how picky they are, especially right now. I mean, they want A plus type profiles. So the little tweaks that you could do to boost up that personal credit profile to go out there and get more access, or to get approved for business credit, I think are two key reasons why it's nice to have the expert in your corner and you focus on your business, focus on finding the next opportunity.
Also, too, like we talked about going for a round of credit, like from multiple lenders and multiple banks. If you try to do that by yourself, that's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. You're gonna be taking time off from your business. And I will tell you the times that I've gotten money from Eric and the times our members got money from Eric is just like a couple phone calls. Eric is, and one thing I love about Eric is he got a time. He said, I'm gonna call Nicole from 205 to 207. We have our little quick little powwows. He's like, hey Nicole, what's up? How you doing? I'm doing good. You all right? How the kids are doing? Okay, call you back. Right. And so like he's not wasting a lot of your time when we have our business calls. Obviously, they're a little longer, but like he's not wasting your time. So you can go and focus on your business because he's got a whole business that he's focusing on as well, right? No one's here to be sitting around taking our time, filling out these long applications, trying to figure out what the lender wants, all that stuff. And so they already know they have relationship with these lenders. I'm not here to sell them. I'm just really here to tell you this is how I've gotten $1 million in business credit.
Love it.
So before we head out of here, this is a real important question. Can you share one or a few reasons why you see, what are the common reasons you see when people do end up defaulting on business credit? Like what's the most common thing? You know, I hear a crazy story. What happens and why does it happen? And how can people avoid it?
I think two main things come to my mind, right? One is they're not looking. They don't review it. They don't take the time once a week, once every couple of weeks to look at what they have going on, look at that spreadsheet to just make sure that they're on top of it and that the minimum payments are set up. So that's the second side of it, is set up the auto pay, set up those minimum payments. You know, maybe you want to pay a little bit more than that, but at the very least, make sure you have auto pay set up with these lenders and these banks so that it's automatic, right? You want it to be as automatic as possible. And then, you know, one thing that you touched on in this was making sure that there's an opportunity and that there's an opportunity for using the funds in something that's a proven concept. Like, I think of real estate being a great opportunity because there's always that exit strategy, right? You can get into a deal, you can buy it, you can flip it, you pay back the lines. Think about same thing with when you're buying, renovating, and then refinancing. You're going to use the refinance to pay back the lines. If you're a contractor and you have a toolbox and you're out there and you take a tool out of the toolbox and you're done at the job site, you don't forget to put that tool back in the toolbox, because then if not, you walk away without the tool. It's the same thing, same way you need to approach the lines of credit and business credit. Use it as a tool for the opportunity in front of you, but then make sure you put that tool back by paying back the line in the short term, right? When the exit strategy is complete. Because if not, you find yourself using a short-term product in a long-term strategy. And that's another big reason why many fail at utilizing business credit properly.
Thank you so much, Eric. So why don't you tell everyone where they can get in contact with you if they want to learn more about your services so they can get some lines of credit responsibly.
Nice. So check out our website, mbcapitalsolutions.com, and then hit us up at 856-556-0830. Love to create value for you and help you continue to grow.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric. And everyone, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, and I will see you all later. Mwah. Live long and prosper.